gmail.com. I'm your host, Roosevelt. Man, this morning I had a live on the TikToker, right? And AI pulled up that I was redirecting consumers to buy my book and courses. That was untrue. A person asked me, what did I do for a living? I told them what I did, and I didn't redirect them whatsoever because TikTok has a technology that don't want anyone off the platform. And I get that, especially if you don't have a TikTok store. Now, unlike YouTube has the same rules and regulations, but not as strict because your conversation is about bringing in great content for the YouTube consumer. And YouTube wants that. Now, let's face it. The lives, the screaming, everything becoming more and more less and less. Because like I told you before, these platforms want you to spend money on advertising. So they're not giving you that huge reach once like you once had. The conversation with most of the platforms is, hey, we want you to engage, but while engaging on content, short content, we really want to grow our business while you grow your business. Or they say, as we help you grow your business. That's not always true. I'm not knocking none of them. They should grow their business. But while you're growing your business, you should read good content like the Business Hustle on economics, inflation, stuff like that. God creates cash flow, stuff like this. From Clippers to CEO, read books like that and curriculums. The very first Business Hustle on, read information such as that. And these informations could help you more than AI. AI is just a short time thinking path for your brain to absorb or you not absorb and AI do all the work. That's not good for humans right now. Humans need to absorb knowledge. They need to have memorization. They need to have conversation with real people. Nothing wrong using AI, but the conversation can't be all AI. Be right back. Mm. Yes, the brain has to have real conversation, real engagement with real people. And every time you look on your phone, on your computer, and you ask an AI to do something for you, and you're not engaging, your conversation will be limited. It will not grow. Your brain will not work. And that's why people have less conversations with real people. That's why guys and girls have to reach out online just to meet people instead of going to the grocery store, going to the restaurant, and just have a conversation with a real person. Hello, what's your name? What do you do? What you like doing? Um, so much more. The conversation got to be greater than what you're thinking. And if you're not having great conversations, well, you're not winning whatsoever. Yes, I know it's easy to have a conversation with AI. AI, how can I be a better father? Well, AI will tell you that. How can I be a better mother? AI will tell you that. Instead of you going to an auntie, an uncle, a father, a mother, and ask them, what were some of their mistakes? What have they learned throughout the years? What have you learned? Teachers are becoming less valuable right now. And that's in all aspects. Especially if the teacher is in the learning process of higher learning. The higher the learning, the less they're gonna be not needed. They're gonna be their expenditures gonna be less and less. Now, the conversation with that is people still need human reaction. The ones who reach out for human reaction gonna have more common sense than the ones who reach out to AI. I seen something on a video. A person said, "Well, AI is just like my buddy. I talk to AI like my friend." And I'm looking like, wow, AI is your friend? Another person said, AI is like my mother. Oh man, that tells me you have less conversation with your mom, who's the human, and you have more conversation with AI. That is terrible. That is a terrible thing to say. Oh, I have conversations. Oh, and you saying you got friends and your friend is AI. That's a mental health problem in America right now. There's no common sense and no common sense to be learned. TV, videos, stuff that you watch each and every day is your mother and father. The conversation is far and wide. I spoke to someone the other day, approximately a week ago, and they said the kids in school read at a second grade level. Read at a second grade level. And they have comprehensions less than 30 milliseconds of a second. 30 milliseconds of a second. That's where they at. That leads me to this arrival of conversation. What are we doing? We're not learning fast enough, and we're not comprehending fast enough. And we're relying on the conversation of AI and not the conversation of where AI gets the information from. AI can tell you anything that's in the business hustle, anything, right? But if you don't speak to the hustler or the conversation from the person who wrote the book, you will never know how in-depth that conversation could be or worth to you. That's why it's called consulting. If I told you, AI could say, oh, this is what the hustler, business hustler means. This who write the business hustler. Of course, they could tell you what are similar to what I wrote because they read it themselves, AI, and you did not read it to get the right knowledge. Do you know when you read a book from the beginning to end, from the beginning to the end, you have a better absorption to the brain instead of AI talking to you and telling you what it is? You have a better conversation because understand this, we as humans see as pictures. And if the picture of the conversation of the book has pictures, not pictures visually, but picture mentally, we absorb it more than the conversation of an AI or a video or a listening device because the eyes absorb information to the brain immediately. They just do. And with that said, you're going to be stronger, more aware than the person who only use AI in a listening device because they don't want to read because they're lazy. Why do you wonder why people try to read scribes that was written almost 4,000 years ago? The reason why they read scribes because scribes is not written in the regular dialect of the English language or Latin language or any other language except what a scribe is. So you have to read the scribe to find out what each bird, whichever um, um, curves or Arabic language that is in the scribes to understand the conversation, what they was having 3,000 years ago. Once you understand and you reflect or have research conversation of that, then you have a better knowledge of what's going on in the world today. Now, you can obviously get that conversation directly programmed to you immediately in 30 seconds or more from AI. But however, when you do the research yourself, you will see notations and mistakes and awareness and nuance and basic knowledge with other people who are having the conversation or who are studying the conversation. They will be greater and smarter than you. Yes, AI is wonderful. Yes, AI is not perfect. Neither are the regular human beings. But once you start absorbing knowledge and you gain the knowledge from books and courses and studying, and you take your 10 minutes or 15 minutes to do so, you will be the one who's greater. You'll be the master of AI, and AI won't be the master of you. Yeah, use AI, but use your knowledge of reading to learn more. This is Roosevelt Davis of BHO Innovations. BHO Innovation. Please subscribe, make a comment, share. Share this information with all. Because guess what? You know they need it, and so do we. Peace.